Hello, I'm Jesse Milan, Chair of Memorial's Worship Committee, and it's my pleasure to bring you this first ever virtual report for our first ever virtual year. Your worship committee consists of our clergy, Gray and Natalie, and our clergy in training, Rachel Johnson and Karen Mercer, and representatives from our various ministries, music, altar guild, acolytes, chalice bearers, readers, vergers, and ushers, plus the Faith at 8 service and our youth ministry. All these are represented by Justine Coons, Becky Clark, Barbara Cates, John Seeley, Stacy Wells, Hannah Hutchins, Alice Peak, Marjorie Forster, and me. I think we all know that the great challenge and opportunity in 2020 for Memorial's Worship Committee and for churches across the country and the Episcopal Church was the transition to all virtual services due to COVID-19, to the pandemic. As an Episcopal Church, we are required to follow the directions of the bishop and the diocese, and they were committed to being guided by directives from the governor and the mayor and public health authorities. Mandates from them directed that we not gather in person and that those in the sanctuary be limited to only a few persons necessary for producing our virtual services. And that included the recommendation to avoid group singing. So we held our first virtual service in March of last year. It felt like an experiment, but the worship committee worked hard to advise Gray and to represent all of you in that transition. We worked especially hard to make our first ever virtual Holy Week a meaningful and fulfilling one. Palm Sunday and the virtual performance of the Passion with iconic images on PowerPoint and music from the Godspell cast at Memorial Players all inspired us with what church on Zoom could be. Maundy Thursday, Good Friday, Easter Vigil with a real fire in Gray's backyard, and Easter Sunday were all new on Zoom, but brought us music and lessons and prayers that we shared and enjoyed virtually together. It is fair to say that creating those events in April was a big lift for Gray, for Stacy Wells, our Zoom production lead, and for your committee. But we were committed to bringing them to you, and we did. And the worship committee was especially committed in the pandemic to bringing you the things that we all wanted most and expected from Memorial: great music, great preaching, and a chance to be in community. Even with technology troubles, and yes, we did have many troubles, especially in those first 4 or 5 months, but we always had great music, thanks to Justine and to the Memorial Choir and to musicians Brian and Valentina, thanks to Jenny Hornbeck and her friends in the Small Choir, and to great recorded musicians and soloists from Memorial Players, Chase Maggiano, and even our former organists like John Wilson and Nick Fanning. And Lord, did we have great preaching. Gray and Rachel and Natalie and Ken Ironside and guest preachers appearing live on Zoom. Seeing their faces close up on Zoom showed us their passion as we listened intently to their messages and their words. But by the end of the spring, it was clear that we needed additional support to make our online services work even better. So funds were raised to hire our e-seminarian, Rachel Johnson, and Gray increased the roles of trainees Karen Mercer and Carolyn Armstrong. Fundraising was also held to enhance our technology resources. Several $1,000s helped us purchase a standing video camera and computer monitors and recruit a technical crew and do Wi-Fi improvements. Thanks to our donors, those challenges that we experienced on Homecoming Sunday will hopefully never happen again. But you never know, because we're all dependent on Zoom and on our various internet providers to come through for us week after week. And our worship committee addressed what so many of you missed, and that was getting the sacrament of Holy Communion. Gray discovered a safe way for you to get that sacrament, and the committee helped devise a distribution plan for outside on the church sidewalk and offering it to you on a periodic basis. The plan gave us a chance to see some of our members and Gray in person, even if for just a moment from our cars or on the sidewalk as we picked up our communion packets. So, with enhanced technology and with bread and wine in our own homes, our fall services became more free of technical issues and for some of you, even more meaningful. And that included our All Saints service and our traditional reading of the names, our service featuring our youth on Christ the King Sunday, Thanksgiving, Advent lessons and carols, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and Epiphany, all great online celebrations, and they were all well attended and we hope enjoyed by you. In 2021, our worship committee will continue working with Gray and Justine during this pandemic to give them our best advice on behalf of all of you so that our services give all of us the opportunity to join together in raising prayers and supplications and giving thanks and praise to God. And though we never expected that virtual church would be our rigor for nearly the entirety of 2020, we will likely continue it through much of 2021. But it is church. Because as Bishop Sutton said at our diocesan convention, virtual church is real church. And that has been true for Memorial Episcopal Church. Thank you for staying with us and for making our online services a delight in this pandemic. Our coming together has been real church. Thank you and thanks be to God.